one. Welcome to hour 2 of the All Ball podcast. Leighton, what are you doing? Oh, okay. Well, welcome back, everybody. This hour we'll be going over NBA stuff, and we're actually gonna attempt to cover some NHL news. I think this should be interesting. But first we're gonna start off with the NBA power rankings post trade deadline. So obviously, number 1, the Nets, or not the Nets, the Suns. Excuse me.
Yeah, the Nets are number 1. Hey, look at the Suns' previous ranking. Number 1.
Wild.
They're really good. We go over them pretty much every time. Number 1 team in the NBA until somebody tops them.
By the way, do you have the link
for the ESPN power rank?
No, I was
for
using
the thing
NBA.
I'm on.
Yeah, I was using NBA.
Bro, I'm using ESPN.
NBA.
Go on NBA. Fine.
So
fine.
yes, the Suns are really good. They finished a 4-game trip with wins in Chicago, Philadelphia, and then beat the Bucks. That's pretty much the best teams in the East right now. That they just beat all of them.
Bulls are garbage, bro.
The Bulls are just really injured, dude.
No,
they're just really injured.
They're just not
they pretty much stood pat at the trade deadline. They really didn't need to do anything. They're 46-10. Offensive rating is 2nd. Defensive rating is 4th. Their net rating is 1st. So, yeah, they're really good. We've talked about them before. Number 2, up from number 3, the Grizzlies at 40-18. They've been doing pretty good. They've won 8 of their last 9 games. They've led 6 of those 8 by 19 points or more. They've led each one of their last 4 games by at least 28 points.
Yeah, they're very explosive on offense. I really get from John Morant this year is that Derrick Rose MVP season vibes, where they just came into the year with no expectations. And yeah, they both play very similar as well. I would say Ja's a better shooter, possibly a better defender.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of the same. They both are not insane on defense. Either way, I don't know why, but he just gives me that like a lot of people root for him, and I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if he sneaks out of the year with an MVP. Right now, I think it's between him, Embiid, Jokic, and Giannis are probably my top 4 in the MVP discussion right now.
Yeah, we'll get to the 76ers. I wouldn't be surprised if Embiid wins it this year, honestly. It just kind of feels like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if they'll want to give it to... I don't know if they'll want to give it to Jokic again. You know what I mean?
Right.
And now that Durant's been injured, I don't know. It just feels like the narrative. But yeah, Ja's definitely up there. He's averaged 27 points over the last 5 games, despite shooting 6 for 28 from outside the paint. It's not very good.
Nope, it's not. But dude, he tries catching the body. He tries catching the body every single game. Sometimes he does. He's had a couple pretty decent posters on his young career, but
he's kind of like a young Russell Westbrook in a way.
Yeah.
But he's a better shooter, I would say.
I just wish he would be a little more technical and a little more fatigue in his game than just trying to physically overpower people, because a lot of times he just blows some easy dunks or easy floaters, easy layups, just trying to poster somebody.
Yeah, it happens. They've won 13 straight games now against the 15 teams that are currently at below 500. They also swept Clippers on Tuesday. They completed the season sweep. So yeah, they're doing pretty good. The Warriors are down 1, so they're dropped to 3 at 42 and 15. Their offensive rating is 12th. Their defensive rating is first. So, I mean, that's going back to like their 2015 season when defense was really their calling card. You know?
Dude, I think that's really what's keeping them floating is that defense because they do try on the defensive end and they have Clay and Dre and Curry, even though he's not the best defender, he at least I think tries on defense. Um, Wiggins is in his career not been a great defender, but this season he's actually playing pretty good. Um, I I guess number 3 is fine, but bro, their offense has been so weird ever since Curry got that record, bro. Ever
And they
since he got
also have
that
the
record,
second best record in the. They also have the second best record in the league still. So they're still a really good team. They're gonna figure, like we said this last time. They're gonna, and it's like they're still playing really well. They're just not like completely dominating everybody like they did at the beginning of the season. So I think they're kind of coasting now a little bit. I feel like because I don't think the number 1 seed is like a priority for them, and they've already created some separation to some other West teams. I mean, except the Grizzlies, but they'll still have a top 3 seed easily by the end of the season.
Yeah,
So I think
sure.
they're kind of coasting a little bit.
Either way, they're probably gonna have to go through Phoenix, and I think that's gonna be a tough matchup for them.
Yeah. Number 4, the Miami Heat. I haven't really seen much of them this season, so I don't really have a lot to say on Miami. Kyle Lowry's back.
I think they have a lot of good players. I just don't think they have that elite star that can win you a championship. I think Jimmy Butler, kind of like Paul George, could be the best number 2 on a championship team.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think he has the ability to single-handedly will you a championship. You look at it, he had a couple good games against the Lakers in the finals a couple years ago.
He just couldn't try.
But
he
does everything, but he's not he cannot just go get you a bucket every single play. He's not KD and he's not LeBron. He's not
efficiently. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
I would say he's an A in almost every single category, but he's not an A+ at anything.
That's a good way to look at it. He is an all-star. He's not a starter, is he? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think he is, but
they're in first place. What?
Yeah, they have the best record in the East, but that's still not an insanely good record. They'll probably win about 55 games or so.
They're one behind they have a 1-game lead over the Bulls and a 2-game lead over the Nets. Or the 76ers, I mean. No, more than that.
Brings you into number 5.
Yeah, what is Philadelphia. So they're down
up
1 place.
They're up 2.5 on the Sixers.
Yeah. I think they just got a lot better. Obviously, with the addition of Harden, I think that moves them up. Honestly, I would put them
above the Heat.
Over the Heat right now.
Yeah, I agree. Mm-hmm.
Honestly, you could make a good argument that they're number 2 to 3 right now. I don't really agree with this at number 5.
I think we gotta wait for them to actually play together before we can make any predictions or be sure on any predictions. But I guess I will say, if I had to pick a team to come out of the East, I might go with the Sixers.
I would pick the Sixers right now, just because. Yeah, I mean, you said,
I think
they're gonna have the two of the either best or 2 of the top 3 best in every series they play in.
Yeah, right. I just don't, dude. The East is so okay. The East is good, but not a single team is great. There's a couple great teams in the league. Not a single one of them resides in the East, except possibly the 76ers. And we'll just have to wait and see. They did, I will say, have a lot of wins at the trade deadline, keeping Thibault. It sucks they had to get rid of Curry, which...
Yeah.
Curry,
but I mean, like you said, you're losing Curry's shooting, and you're replacing it with Harden's playmaking and shooting. So a loss is a loss, but like they kind of traded strength for even bigger strength.
Yeah, I'm pretty high on the Sixers, especially because like Harden a lot of the times in the playoffs where he's like really not come through putting up numbers, he was their number one option in scoring.
Right.
He doesn't have to be.
No, he doesn't have to be leaned on now because Joel
And
Embiid
you look
can.
at Embiid. Embiid plays good in the playoffs.
He
He
really
does.
has. Right. He really has. It was Ben Simmons that completely let him down last year.
So I'm pretty high on them, especially because you look
Mm.
at it. One thing that I think is really telling to me about being a good coach is a team's defensive rating, right? Just because
Right.
you can coach somebody to try on defense, even if it's people have limitations on offense. Sometimes physically, sometimes they just I don't know they just aren't insane shooters or whatever it is, whatever the case may be. But I think having a great defensive rating, just a good defensive roster, is really telling on how adamant and how like engaged a coach is. And so I really like Doc Rivers, especially because I think he's kind of hungry. He hasn't won a championship since the Celtics. That was over a decade ago. So I think he's pretty hungry for it.
Doc's a good coach.
Yeah, for sure.
I wouldn't have. Yeah. I don't. The Clippers just have other issues. Anyway, number 6. Here's a surprise of the season: the Cleveland Cavaliers. Especially, I think a lot of people, when Colin Sexton went down, they were like, "Oh, well, this is going to be a totally lost season." But Darius Garland has really stepped up. Like he's probably MIP, right?
Hmm.
Darius Garland, I would say he's probably the most improved player. Um, he scored 27 the other night.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
probably running away with that most improved. I kind of like the same thing with the Sixers. They're really good at defense, and a lot of that is the rookie Evan Mobley. Probably might win Rookie of the Year, honestly. They may even have the Coach of the Year because I don't think anybody expected. You know, I could see like at the start of the year, I could see the Cavs sneaking in as a bottom seed, but like right now they're looking to have home court advantage in the first round.
I know.
So
Yeah, what is their record? 35 and 22. So they're not terribly outside
they're
of
tied with the
Heat.
Bucks. They're tied with. Well, actually, they're ahead of the Sixers.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they're not
Um,
terribly outside of the Heat.
but kind of like we said the last time we did this, I think they're a year away, 2 years away, for
They got
sure.
really
I actually think they play better without Colin Sexton. I'm not very big on Colin Sexton. He doesn't do anything besides score, but like he's not an efficient scorer either. He shoots well under 50%. He doesn't distribute the ball as a guard very well. Doesn't play
mhm.
defense like at all. He virtually doesn't play defense. I don't know. I think Dylan was saying I think he's a free agent at the end of the year.
Sexton?
If I was a Cav, yeah, if
I
I
don't
was the
think he is. I think
Cavs,
they're looking for trade options.
I would hope so because I think he definitely does not fit in this type of roster.
Well, it's just interesting because I think like if you go back a year or two, like people were looking at Colin Sexton as the main piece and Darius Garland as kind of his complement. And that's just this year. That's just not the case at all. And Jarrett Allen is playing pretty well. He's probably gonna be an all-star with Zach LaVine dealing with a knee issue.
Yeah, and Harden, they're looking for that replacement for Harden still. He is probably going to get substituted with either Jaylen Brown, maybe Drew Holiday, maybe Jared Allen, maybe who's a lot of people saying Pascal Siakam might make it. So there's a lot of other people that could sneak in that spot, but he's definitely floating around in that All Star
Um,
um,
and they also
category.
have a win. The Cavs also have a winning record against the top 8 teams in the East, at 9-7. So yeah, they're doing pretty good. And Darius Garland, good story of the year. Number 7, the Boston Celtics. This team is really like it feels like they've been like in championship contention for a while and just can't get it done. I'm kind of over the Celtics. I think they got
Jaylen Brown and Tatum just don't work together, bro.
yeah, they're good, but
They just don't.
something's just not right. I don't know. I think they kind of honestly, if I were them, I'd probably consider moving one of them. Which probably
Yeah, if
Jaylen
I would,
Brown,
I mean, I think they moved Jaylen Brown before they moved Tatum. But
right?
dude, Jaylen Brown is like way more consistent than Tatum. Tatum has some nights where he just doesn't do anything. He scores under 10 points like a
Yeah.
lot, and
He played
he just
really
has
well
a
in the
higher
playoffs
ceiling.
last year, but
Yeah, I
played
think he has
really
a
well
higher
in the
ceiling.
yeah,
You
I
know,
agree with that.
actually, so I just kind of looked it up just because I was curious. So Darius Garland is averaging 20.1 points per game this year, which is good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, especially on a young team where he's like the main
Uh-huh.
deal. Kind of, he averaged 17.4 last year. He's only up
Interesting.
2.7 points per game on the
It
year.
feels like a lot more.
Uh huh. Up 2 assists. I mean, up in shooting, which is always a plus. But man, that was an underrated season he had last year, just because the Cavs didn't really perform.
Yeah. Right. So number 8, the Bucks. I think they finished the season higher than this. I think they're still a really good team. Giannis is obviously has an argument for being the best player in the league. I don't know them too. I just feel like they're on a championship year, and it's just kind of like
They're on a
coasting a
high.
little bit.
They're on
You
that
know what I mean?
championship high, I think.
Yeah.
Like I
Um.
think they could make it out of the East if they start turning it around by the end of the year. Like they're in that kind of 76ers and Heat bubble. Um, but yeah, I mean, power rankings are how they're playing right now, and they're not insane. They're not doing as good as they could right now. I like the
Right.
Serge Ibaka pickup. It sucks they lose DiVincenzo, but um, it is what it is.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Number 9, the Denver Nuggets. Of course, Jokic is phenomenal. Um, yeah. Of course, you really like Jokic, but he's having to shoulder a ton of the load this year. It feels like, which he did last year, but I don't know. I don't think the Nuggets are really like a championship roster. It just doesn't feel like
Not
they're in the
right
same
now.
class as, especially the Suns. They just don't feel like they're in the same class.
They just gotta. I mean, dude, you look at Jamar Murray. He's been one of the best playoff performers like we've seen as of recent. So they gotta um, expect him to be back by the playoffs that they have. I think he'll definitely boost their at least rankings and boost their ego, boost their momentum for the playoffs for sure. Whenever he comes back, I don't know what the news on him is.
Right. I agree with
It
that.
looks like
So yeah.
from CBS, it's saying Jamal Murray could be back by the end of the season, so that's kind of telling. Coming into the playoffs, not playing all year, like that's going to be not the best for him.
Right.
Yeah, Nuggets are just injured. What are you going to do?
Yeah. And then so we'll go here. So then the Raptors are at number 10. Of course, Pascal Siakam playing pretty good this year. He's averaged 26.9 points over their last 8 games, so he's been playing better as of late. 54% on field goal attempts in the last 8.
He's
Like
been
again,
playing
they're just one of
better.
those mid teams. Like I just don't feel like they're in. They're kind of mid.
Yeah, they have a very good three-headed monster with Siakam, Fred Van Vliet, and Gary Trent's actually played very well since going to the Raptors from the Blazers. I don't know, but they're not great. I like their coach. I think Nick Nurse is a good coach.
Right. All right. So let's just highlight some other big teams outside the top 10. The Bulls have really fallen, just decimated by injuries. And they started really hot, which I don't think was necessarily endemic. I think they've kind of regressed to the mean. The Clippers are down at 15. Have Paul George and Kawhi even like played this year?
Paul George has played like 10 games. Kawhi hasn't. Remember,
What is
Kawhi got
Kawhi
that.
even hurt with?
No, didn't he like tear his ACL in the playoffs or whatever it was?
Oh, okay, he did. Yeah. So I mean, we'll see. We'll see if they like because they could be a championship team if they get their stars back. You know what I mean? Like they could be, but it's just impossible to say. Um, the Nets are down at 17. It's
Where are
just
the
tough because Durant's
Lakers?
injured. Lakers are down at 20, I think. Yeah, the Lakers are down at 20. They're 26 and 31. They're so bad. They're so
See,
awful.
you know, there's something funny. This is, I think, hilarious. So their pace, which is basically how many points they score in 100 possessions, I think, right?
I thought it was how many possessions they have. Either way, yeah.
Either way, that's very high, and their offensive rating is very low. So you know what that
Yeah, it's
means? They
missing a
turn the
lot of
ball over. They turn the ball
yeah.
over a lot. A lot. They waste a lot of possessions. And then on
Dude, that's
top of that, they don't play defense. Like at
that's
all.
not
Like
shocking. They have
they're
Russell
bottom half of the
Westbrook.
league. Like,
Yeah.
man.
And their offensive rating isn't good either.
Well, right, that's because they turn the ball over a lot.
Dude, I wouldn't be shocked if LeBron leaves.
I don't think he's gonna. I don't know why like I don't know where he can even go to
Actually,
pop. Like I don't think he cares about winning championships anymore. I think his legacy's cemented. Easily a top I think easily a top 2 player ever. Some people argue he's the best. I'd say right now he's the second best. Either way, I think his legacy for the most part cemented. He likes Hollywood. He likes LA. He's got a lot of business down there. I would expect he's just going to finish it out in the Lakers, even if he is mediocre for the rest of his career.
you know what? I wouldn't be surprised actually, because he's talked about wanting to play with Bronny. I don't know if I would be surprised if he took like a 2-year break or whatever, and then came back and played with whatever team drafted Bronny. That wouldn't shock me.
That'd be cool. I definitely think he might look to either get traded or re-sign with them or whatever the case may be at the time, depending on when he gets drafted. Bronny, that is. But
Right. How many
uh,
average?
dude, what was I gonna say? Shoot,
What's he averaging, Bron?
LeBron like 29, 29, 7, the usual.
He's playing. Wow,
He's
it's just
playing very
weird. Like
well.
that's
No,
weird.
I don't think he either retires or leaves
29.
until he gets that points record. Because that's the thing. That's the argument LeBron has, is he has the records over Jordan. He just doesn't have like the win success, right? So that's where like both sides kind of argue for one another. Is Jordan wins, but LeBron has better stats. So that's where the big old
Yeah, he's having a
discrepancies.
he's having a statistical MVP season, but they're just so bad. And you can't even really feel bad for him because this is his team.
Yeah, he
Like
put
he
it
wanted
together.
this.
I mean, we talk about the Lakers because they're a big brand and they have LeBron, but like they're just not a good team.
No,
It is
not at
what it
all.
is.
And this
But
happens. I feel
yeah,
like this happens a lot on LeBron teams. Like you look at the Cavs. Like he wants to bring in veterans and whatever guys to play with him. The first time he or the second time he left, the Cavs were left with like basically nothing. When he left the Heat, they were left with basically nothing when he left. So, I mean, whatever. You kind of the Lakers
I
kind of
can.
sold their soul for a championship, and it worked. They got a championship, but
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it's worked for most of his career. He just physically can't carry a team anymore.
dude, imagine when he leaves, how bad the Lakers are gonna be.
Dude, they should have traded AD, bro. They should have, because
Probably.
they're not trading Westbrook.
I
AD
don't
just
care.
doesn't care about basketball. He doesn't.
Dude, him and Ben Simmons should play together. and Kyrie.
Yeah, they should all go to the Magic. That'd be awesome. I hope they all go to the Magic or like the Pistons. That'd be awesome. But yeah,
Dude, honestly, the Pistons would probably take it.
dude, you look at AD. That's why he's constantly getting injured. You know,
Doesn't work out.
I guarantee you, he puts in less hours in the gym than I do.
Who do you think puts in more hours in the gym? AD or Ben Simmons?
Probably the one that's played this year. I don't know. Well,
AD?
definitely the one that's played this year. Yeah, Simmons hasn't got a jump shot in his life.
Yeah, but I feel like Simmons at least works out.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I don't know, bro. I don't like people like that. I don't like people like that. Like, you're given a gift.
So annoying.
You're given an athletic ability, and you know, you're physically gifted. Like, that's your job. You know, do something about it. But whatever. He has a ring and he's paid, so it is what it is. Sucks for the Wizards, even though they weren't really going anywhere anyway. But they got a couple, they got Porzingis now, which I think would have been a decent pairing with Bradley Beal, but obviously Beal's out for the year.
Porzingis and Lauri Markkanen are two guys that just haven't lived up to what I thought they would be.
I think Porzingis has just been injured. Lauri Markkanen's played way better on the Cavs than he ever did in the Bulls.
Yeah. Weird, the Euros, dude. Yeah, so the Cavs are just garbage. Interesting, the Pelicans are terrible. Pelicans are bad.
Zion just doesn't play like ever.
Is he hurt or did he just like?
Yeah, no, he's injured like all the time. It's because he can't jump more than 3 feet without breaking a kneecap, dude. He weighs 400 pounds. He eats New Orleans stuff, bro.
This is his
Aren't they like
season.
notorious for having like shrimp and all, like gumbo shrimp?
Gumbo.
Yeah.
Really, but I don't blame him.
Fun fact. This is like my 5th fun fact of the day. Thunder point guard, shooting guard, small forward, all-around player Josh Giddey, their rookie, now currently has the 3 youngest triple doubles ever. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
he has the 3. Like, he has 3 triple doubles on the year. All 3 of them are the youngest out of anybody, younger than Luka and LeBron.
Thunder's awful.
Yeah, so him and SGA get a lot of the.
But that's the thing. Like, they have kind of like 2 good young players. There's more than I can say for the Lakers.
Thunder, I think, are going to be actually pretty decent after their 4 years. Because you know how many draft picks they have?
Yeah, a lot. Like 40.
Yeah, and they're bad this year, so they're probably going to get a decent player in the draft. And they're going to get the number 1 pick, and they're going to draft that Gonzaga dude. They're going to draft Chet, and Chet's just going to, like, torch the league. You know what I'm talking about? Chet Holmgren, the guy who's, like, 7 foot tall and weighs, like, 100 pounds.
Uh-huh. He's going to break, dude. He's going to break in half. Yeah?
I got shit so bad.
Hey, I'm still playing the, I probably just won't post this part on YouTube.
Nobody watches it, so if you're watching this, you got better things to do. I'll be right back.
Maybe I will post it on YouTube. Who cares? All right. So I'm just gonna riff if you're watching this on YouTube. What should I talk about? Let's see. What interesting things have gone on? Yeah, true. If you're watching us on YouTube, first of all, I mean, thank you. Oh, that's what I'll talk about. Kanye. Okay. I don't know if you've been following this, but Kanye is just off his rocker. If he wasn't already, he is now. Dude has such an issue. So he posted a whole bunch of stuff like screaming at everybody about everything, mostly Kim. And then last night, he deleted literally everything off his Instagram. It has 2 pictures. He was going all off about Skeet Davidson and like him. And then he sent her a truck of flowers on Valentine's Day. Dude was just absolutely off his rocker. But yeah, then he deleted everything because apparently Kim texted him and was like, "Stop, you need to stop doing this. You're like endangering me and Pete. Like, this isn't cool. You need to stop." And so he did, but dude is just lost. And I kind of feel bad because, like, yeah, he's missing like, his family, which sucks, but, like, maybe there's a reason for that. Like, dude's legitimately crazy. Like, it's shocking. I don't know. I kind of feel bad. But I think a lot of people also drove him to it, and like, there's really no like Hollywood's a tough place, man. Hollywood's a tough place. I don't. We ever get famous for this podcast, we have to stay humble. I don't know. Um, what else is interesting right now? I've been all into. So I'm really into Formula One, and I've been getting all into this. The F1 car launches have been recently. So Williams just launched their car today. I'm a McLaren fan. And I think the McLaren looks kind of sick. Like, here, I'll pull it up here. I think the McLaren looks kind of sick, but some people have been hating on it. Um, Here, I'll pull it up here real quick. People have been hating on it. It's gonna be interesting to see how everybody like treats the new regulations because I know like the Aston Martin is supposed to be the legit one, and the McLaren's the legit one. I don't know how entirely legit the McLaren is because apparently they hid some stuff about the floor and whatever else. So that's not incredible. Like that, then the floor is what's gonna be important. So I don't know if we'll entirely know how that's gonna be, and we won't know until they get on the track for testing and especially like um once the first race starts. So here's the new McLaren, and then their 2 Indy cars. So I think it looks sick. Like I really like the way it looks. I wish they hadn't done so much black and would have gone more blue, but either way, I think it looks pretty dope. They also just re-signed Lando Norris to a long deal. That's pretty cool. Pretty happy about that. Yeah, so it's an exciting time for F1. If you're listening to this, let us know on Instagram if you were thinking about doing a like recap of the Drive to Survive. So last season, when the Drive to Survive starts coming out, because I know a lot more people watch Drive to Survive than actually watch the races of the Formula One season. So we're thinking about doing that. So if you're watching this, just let us know on our Instagram at JL All Ball Podcast what you want to hear. And also let us know if you want to hear any other, like if you have any questions or if you want to hear us talk about anything else from the sporting world. We're going to be going into some, like, possibly some history stuff here coming up. We're going to have next Thursday's episode is going to be on Tom Brady's career. So we're going to do like a whole Tom Brady retirement thing. That should be fun. And then we're going to be doing baseball preview coming up here. That should be a good time. Yeah, so a lot of cool
Yep,
things
since I'm done recording my thing
coming up.
quick. At like 20 minutes yet.
All right, Layton's back. So we're gonna pick back up here and we'll restart the podcast audio. I
Hey,
was
wait, what
telling
do
him
you...
about Kanye and then I was talking about Formula One.
Wait, you were like, you were talking or whatever? Like,
Uh,
are we recording? Are we going live?
we're still on YouTube, but I'll
Oh,
restart
yeah.
the podcast.
See that picture?
Yeah,
Check Snap.
I saw it. All right,
Okay, what
so
were
we're
we
gonna
talking about?
restart.
We're talking about
I don't remember.
the Josh Giddey. I don't know. So that's the I remember.
All
Josh
right,
Giddey.
we're gonna restart. I'll just say we had to we had to take a pause there for a sec. Right. All right, sorry about that. We had to take a quick break for a second. Leighton had to use the bathroom, but we're back. I don't exactly remember what we were talking about, but we were just finishing up with the NBA power rankings, and Pistons are the worst. So I don't know. I wouldn't want to be on the Pistons.
Kate Cunningham's playing like, I don't know. I mean, he's playing fine for a rookie, but being the number one pick, he's played like, I would say not as good as he could, especially being like literally one of the only good players on that team. Like it's him and Jeremy Grant and nobody else. Um, Funny enough, because I would say Jeremy Grant's their best player. Apparently, they've lost 18 straight games that he's played. It's kind of weird. When your best
Hmm,
player is not performing, but I don't know. They
that
got
is
Marvin Bagley. Maybe they're turning it around. I don't know. But yeah, Pistons, Rockets, Magic are all kind of like irrelevant on the year. Uh,
that is interesting. Um. Okay. So let's get in to some other news from around sports. Baseball still has not ended the lockout. That's gonna be interesting. So the MLB had an offer, and it was expected there was gonna be a counter offer from the players' union. Doesn't sound like that's gonna happen this week. Um, I don't know if the baseball season is gonna start on time. To be honest with
oh,
you,
it's not. It's not. Yeah, I don't even know. Do you think they have? Because they probably are going to have some form of spring training, I would assume, right? Like a shortened portion of it, I would
maybe,
imagine. That'd be kind of dumb.
maybe.
Like I guess the NFL didn't have a preseason, but like I don't know, baseball. I think there's definitely more factors that go into a baseball game. Like there's so much stuff that can happen in a baseball game.
Right. Well, and there's no plans for the next bargaining session. So it's just like there's supposed to be a counter proposal towards the middle of the week. I mean, that was supposed to already happen. So I
Here's
don't
an
know,
idea.
dude.
Here's an idea. So the players and the owners both take less money, and then baseball isn't as expensive to watch. Think about it.
How about yeah, I agree. You know that more people watch the World Series though than the NBA Finals? That surprised me.
Well, like in total, like all 7 games.
No, like per game.
I mean, yeah. The NBA, I think that the NBA needs to switch their playoffs, by the way. I think if they literally picked up the MLB playoffs, like exactly, except for like a wild card, make it a 3 game series, like the MLB should have done forever ago, that would be a
Right?
perfect playoffs for both leagues.
I think the MLB should change their season to finish in like end of August.
Are
That's
you a
what I
fan
say.
of the 162 games?
Not really.
Oh, neither am I. Neither am I. Like, I think like
I
100
don't.
would be cool, I guess. Because what is
Yeah,
that? Like, if they. That's 4 months. I mean,
that literally would make it finish in like August, which would be perfect. and then they'd get done before football season starts, and then a lot more people would watch the World Series. I feel like. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Yeah, true. So the lockout's in its third month. He said the status of spring training, there's no change right now. What Rob Manfred said. He said that this was his quote when he was asked about if opening day will take place as scheduled on March 31st. He said, I'm an optimist and I believe that we will have an agreement in time to play a regular season schedule. All right. Good luck, Chief.
Yeah,
Good luck.
Manfred is the worst commissioner, bro.
He's
So
pretty
dumb.
bad.
He's so dumb.
I think, as much as people like to hate on him, I think Roger Goodell. I think he's the best.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the trajectory of like people are saying Adam Silver was the best, but like look at the viewership and like engagement in the NFL the last 5 years compared to the NBA in the last 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, I think Adam Silver has a better concept of trying to go like more global than the NFL is, because the NFL plays like what 92 games a year outside the U.S. NBA plays a couple of games outside the U.S. and their numbers in pretty much every country. Basketball is just more popular in other countries than American football is.
Yeah, but
and so I think that at least from what we're seeing, that we don't get as much like promotion as we see for the NFL, just because I don't know. I think that they have better luck making revenue trying to go elsewhere.
Well, here's what I think too. I think the NBA has really remained political, where the NFL has kind of cut some out in the last couple of years. I don't think people like that. I mean, I don't.
Shut up and dribble. Or that whole thing.
It was annoying.
Shut up and dribble.
That was literally just annoying. Yeah, so we can take a look at, you know what? Let's take a look at the NHL rankings. I know.
Our rankings?
Yeah, we really haven't talked about this all season, but they came out of the All-Star break not that long ago. I really like the NHL playoffs too. They're kind of more the NBA playoffs, but
they're just okay. The thing is, the games are more important. That's the thing. Like, I don't even watch the first round of the NBA playoffs. I haven't in a couple of years.
Right.
I just think they're boring, and 90% of the time, the better team wins. They play 7 games. You know, like.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So the number 1 seed right now is the Colorado Avalanche. Yeah, they're really good.
Or did you find power rankings?
Power rankings. Yeah, they're really good. They're one of only 3 teams to be better than plus 45 for the season in goal differential. They have plus 59. They're 33-3 over their past 36 games. They have not lost a game in regulation in 2 months.
Yeah, that's actually wild to think about.
That's really good.
That's kind of.
They have not.
So what is their record? Does it say their record in the last 2 months?
No. Well,
yeah. I definitely. You look at NHL teams. I think in the last couple of years, the teams that are better on offense, I think, have really exploded. Kind of like the NFL, offense is definitely, I guess, more important. I shouldn't say it's more important, because you also obviously play defense, but I think offense can carry you to a championship a lot better than defense can, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So you look at like power rankings. Where did you find any power rankings?
On CBS. Yeah, so they're 32, 10, and 5, which is really good. Yeah. Oh no, sorry, they're not. Panthers are 32, 10, and 5. They're 34, 8, and 4. That's crazy. They haven't lost a game in regulation in 2 months. That's ridiculous. Yeah. And so number 2 is the Panthers, the Florida Panthers. They haven't played a
I would
game
still
since
put them.
what?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
They haven't played a game since February 1st. So it's been a while. But they go on the road to play the Hurricanes and the Wild soon. So those should be pretty good matchups because the Wild are pretty good. They're number 3 already this year. What were you gonna say before? Sorry.
I still think you have to put the Panthers number 1. They have the best offense in NHL. I think by far.
Panthers?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I like the Avalanche, but each their own, I guess. The Wild are doing pretty good after a slow start. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but like Fila has now scored 10 times in the last 14 games. Pretty good. Penguins at number 4. Of course, having Sidney Crosby helps. Would you say he's definitely the best player of this generation? Would you say he's top 5 ever?
Who?
Crosby? Sidney?
Prop. I guess I would say easily top 10.
It's weird though how like one player doesn't necessarily affect a team as much in hockey. I mean, unless it's a goalie, like a really dominant goalie.
Oh, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I think goalies are the only position that actually can carry a team.
Right.
If
Look
you're
at the
if you're locked down, you're I don't know. If you can shut out a team, think about it like that. If you can shut out a team in the playoffs, you're not going to lose. So I think he has the potential, I guess, to be in a top 5. You have an argument for it.
Yeah, you look at like the Oilers, who have one of the worst save percentages in the league, but have the greatest player in the league, and it's not that close right now. Like Connor McDavid is so ridiculously good.
Yeah, no, he probably has the best technical skill out of any hockey player ever.
Dude, he's ridiculous.
And a lot of that is like just the generation, I think. Um, there's just so many good players now, but he's done stuff with a puck that just takes a lifetime to even comprehend how to do. So.
He's played. So think about this. In his career, he's scored in almost half the games he's ever played. He's averaged. Okay, so think about this. In 452 games, he's scored 638 points. That's ridiculous, bro. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, when is he a free agent?
Never. Smart. Yeah, if they're smart, never.
He's got to figure something else out because they just can't put the defense behind it.
Dude, it's the same as Mike Trout and the Angels. What are you gonna do? Anyway, so unless you got anything else about hockey, I think kind of ready.
Because I will say, I guess he signed an extension. It looks like,
Yeah.
but you look at it like this: he in the 20 so from the 2023 season forward on his contract, so next season, not this season, next season, he accounts for over 22% of the cap hit on his team.
That's tough.
So that's just a money grab for him. I guess he must, some people.
I don't know. And hockey doesn't have as much mobility. Hockey really isn't as mobile as other sports are. So it's understandable. So thank you for listening. Remember we are on YouTube and there's full video there, and sometimes that goes a little bit longer. You can check that out. Make sure to check us out on Instagram and TikTok. We're starting to post stuff a little bit more regularly on TikTok. Give us a rating on iTunes and Spotify. That really helps us out. And thanks for listening.
Uh,
Have a good one.